shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alright, welcome to SUYL. So this is Soul Hog.
What's up, what's up?
This is Elias. It's a pleasure to meet y'all. It's a pleasure to see y'all guys back. So, alright, man. So so you're Soul Hog, and you're a Twitch streamer, and you're also coworker of mine. We got to know each other through working for Walmart. And
about a year ago.
About a year ago. Yeah, it's been about a year. So what got you into the Twitch streaming game?
Man, it was just like like the YouTube aspect of it.
Yeah.
You saw all these people, and people always thought like, oh, it's I'm gonna become a big YouTuber, big streamer, make all the money.
Yeah.
For me, that's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of like, I see all these people, I see them doing this, and it puts a smile on my face, you know. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, I had a pretty shit childhood.
Yeah.
But to put the smiles on other people,
So you're basically like trying to reach the people who kind of were growing up in that. What was it, latchkey sensibility?
Right, basically they used YouTube or Twitch as an escape from reality to make themselves laugh.
Yeah. Or it was kind of like just like Philip DeFranco became such a big part of my life from like 07 to like today. So like Philip DeFranco is like a big part of like honestly one of the reasons why I even got into the SUYL podcasting circuit. So like I can kind of respect that you were you got your pretty cool Twitch name there, so it's Soul Hog. That's where they can find you. Is there any particular game that you're like streaming right now? You're kind of getting into the groove of?
So actually, shortly after this, I got a stream planned of playing a childhood game of mine that I played like 3 times, but I loved it.
Okay.
Called Klonoa. It came out like PS1, PS2 era.
So what is this Klonoa? Is it like a strategy based?
It's basically old school platforming. So basically like Crash Bandicoot, things like that, you know. But I have that going on right now. A few other things with my online crew. We got 7 Days going, 7 Days to Die.
That's my sister's into that 7 days.
Yeah, we got that going on, and we got Raft also.
Yeah, Raft is pretty cool. Like I don't know if you ever got into Stranded Deep.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that one.
See, that's my big game. Like I got sucked into that one, and I got sucked into Dante's Inferno when I was young. That one caught me younger, and then I went back to it about I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, where I beat like the first level. I mean, like the first one, and then the second heart. Like basically going through the difficulty. So the first difficulty, then the second difficulty, and I didn't even try the third one because I just was
right.
After the second one, man, I gave so much of my life up to that game. I was like, I gotta get out of this, man. I gotta see like natural light and like fresh air.
Yeah, no kidding. I know how that goes. Like.
Yeah, I always joke about it because it was my cousin's birthday, and I was literally like a zombie. Like I was like I already finished the first difficulty. I'm like midway through the second difficulty, maybe almost close to the end. And my mom's like coming up to me. She's like, "Hey, we're all going to a birthday party. You want to come with me?" And I was like, No, I'm just gonna finish. And I was like, you know what, man, I got too much of an attachment to it. Yeah, let me go and kind of like get out of this headspace.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was probably the healthiest option. Like I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Like if video games give you the escape you need, that's really great. But don't ever be afraid to like kind of step out of that shell just a little and kind of take a breather.
Oh yeah, man. I mean,
it's healthy,
Shoot, like I think I mentioned it to you outside of the workspace or whatever. Like I plan on going to London pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for that for you, man. Yeah, you were talking to actually he was here for the barbecue. You were talking to Chad about that, right?
Right.
Like the best ways to kind of travel in and around there with the tram and everything. I kind of stepped in halfway through the conversation.
Yeah. So I'll be coming into some money pretty soon.
Yeah.
Due to us. Unfortunate
event.
Yeah,
we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. Due to an unfortunate event.
We'll say the unfortunate event stemmed to the opportunity for you to make that unfortunate event a positive outcome.
Exactly, and so first of all, actually, it was actually supposed to be like a meetup with that money from that thing.
Yeah.
Me and my online buddies, we were all gonna meet up in person.
Yeah.
But it just fell through.
It just kind of fell apart, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, you know what?
It was like the meetings of the meetings of the Josh? You ever hear that? Where like
yeah, I've never seen that post on Facebook.
Josh, yeah. So I was just like, I'm gonna do a meeting of the Joshes or something.
Right, that's like that was that was the best thing ever. I saw that when then they
Yeah.
actually made it come to fruition.
Yeah, it was so
it
cool.
actually happened.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's just like, you know, what is it? Like when you put that much effort into planning, usually something falls through. So the fact that I think they got like well over like 1,000 people. Named
Yeah,
Josh or
like
something.
literally over.
Yeah,
so many freaking people
Yeah,
end
I
up
think
going.
they did like a LARPing kind of fight or something.
It was like there was like water guns or pool noodles or something like
some
that. I
kind of
remember
LARPing
that.
kind of thing, and then I think they let like a young Josh child like win the whole event.
Yeah, like it was this little kid.
Yeah,
it was
just
great.
like, it was such a
great.
heartwarming kind of like we're coming out of the pandemic. We're able to kind of like meet up. It's an open air space. Let's kind of like
Yeah, it was like this big old park.
Yeah.
I forgot where it was
Yeah.
though, but and then
I think it was like Josh Avenue, like in like Josh, Missouri.
Yeah, it was something
like,
stupid,
something
like
so silly like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like the name of the street and the name of the town all met up to be like the coordinates where they would meet, and they would be the like Highlander final
And
Josh.
I think what was funny is that they didn't even put the name of anything.
Yeah, I don't think
they
did,
literally
yeah.
put out map coordinates,
yeah,
like
so that you would have to like kind of do some legwork there.
right, and it was great, and like
But yeah, so you got the meetup going, and it fell through. So like are you going with anybody, or you kind of like?
I wasn't at first, so
Yeah.
like I wasn't gonna go. I was gonna go by myself because I know people out there.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, I'll go.
Yeah.
But then like several other people heard that I was gonna go, which I had no problem. I was telling everybody,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
whatever. They were like, screw it, you're not going by yourself. We're going with you. So now it's like 20 of us are going now.
That's great. That's great.
So like, we have a big old crew going. Still trying to work out a few kinks. You know.
I mean that's with any case, right?
Yeah.
Plans, hotels, stuff like that.
Yeah. At first we were getting an Airbnb, but the problem was like they were all out of England.
Yeah.
Out of London, England. But we were like, would probably be easier just to get a hotel and just bunk up, like
Yeah.
2 to 3 people to a room, and that'd be the best case scenario.
Man, I hear that like there's some real issues going down with like Airbnb kind of being pushed out of America now. I mean, there's some real issues going down because it's. I'm not saying it's dying or anything. It's far from that. I think that it's probably a very strong company that's going to do very well over time. But most people aren't. If they have property they're trying to sell, that properties aren't being sold anymore. They're more being set up for Airbnbs or basically to stem that market into something so that there isn't the housing market is being affected by Airbnbs being bought up instead of it being turned into sellable houses or
Right.
rental properties, which I think that's going to be definitely an issue over here for quite a while because of Samsung and other larger entities coming in and around Williamson County.
Yeah, because this town, it's about to get a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, even if like everybody's so concerned about Samsung kind of like being here and then gone, like maybe having like hiccups going along, I think that even with all that, I think we have like Walt Disney coming through, which is I think like Imagine something like Premier Imagine or some kind of stuff like that, and it's going to be on the other side, like coming through Granger, that area. So it's basically going to be competing with Kalahari. And
Yeah,
other things,
yeah, and like what was it? Somebody was saying the other day is like Samsung is gonna push all these small businesses out. It's like no, like a lot of these small
I think
businesses are about to get some money.
Yeah, I think that's kind of short-sighted. I think that what's going to be really interesting to see, because I think that they forget that a lot of the people that come in with a lot of spare cash really like those niche-y kind of like smaller mentality kind of stores, like those really like downtown style stores. I think they like those boutiques and that kind of like feels a little bit more like intimate. You get to know like the person behind the desk. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I have my customers at Walmart that literally come up to me and wave and give me hugs and tell me how that they that they're excited to see me. But still, Walmart is kind of a large entity where at any given time you could move on from that job when it's more like a family style business. It's
right.
the same person.
It's like a stepping stone almost.
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
sense.
Yeah, so Walmart, you can definitely think of it like that as a stepping stone. I mean, I think everybody knows at Walmart now that podcasting is going to be my passion, and that anything that I do from Walmart here on out is to only feed into that passion. The same with you and your Twitch streaming and moving forward.
And it's like I said, it kind of like I'm not doing it for the money and the fame.
No, yeah.
Because that would be nice. Yeah, I could be like I'm just gonna throw a random name out there. I don't know if you know him or not, but Sky does Minecraft.
Yeah.
You know, he just all he did was play Minecraft. You know, and it worked out for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then he kind of slowly descended.
Yeah.
Lack of a better term, slowly descended into madness.
Yeah.
But you know, and I kind of.
I think that's what, man. With you know, I think that with large growth not checked, you're gonna do that, right? Because then it's no longer doing Minecraft for the fun of it. It starts becoming the hobby becomes a job. The
Right.
hobby becomes a career. The career becomes basically something that you can't control anymore. And I think that you have people that have a healthy balance with it. Like Philip DeFranco knows that he's a brand, knows that he's a name, and formed himself into such. And then where you have like PewDiePie, he's no longer around as much, but like PewDiePie kind of built himself from a person into a business, into an entity, and then sold out from there.
Yeah, and like
I think that you have to have that understanding and that balance to be able to do
right,
that.
and you know, I like me, I go to these gaming conventions,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm lucky enough to meet some of these content creators.
Yeah.
You know, like the word the word famous, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
and like
well, because it's also because of how fast things move.
Mm-hmm.
You can become a dinosaur real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
And
and if you're not constantly changing or doing new and interesting things, you can become a dinosaur real quick, and you can fade out, especially on Twitch, where Twitch is very unless you're simultaneously working your YouTube and your Facebook and your Twitch and all this stuff, you can kind of be pushed to the background, because I know that from listening to certain people, it's definitely harder to navigate the space of Twitch to find new creators. You kind of have to know your creator.
right, and so I'm gonna put him on blast right now.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, we call him Glitch, my
Yeah.
self-proclaimed manager.
Yeah.
I'm putting him on blast. I don't care right now.
Yeah.
If he sees this or not, I don't care. But
Well, we hope he sees it.
yeah, right. No
Tune
kidding.
in
Right?
to SUYL, man.
Right. We both agree on one thing. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
So like, let's say like the Resident Evil DLC that's gonna come out pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if I go in there and play that, I'm not gonna get a whole lot of traction. Why? Because you got all these other people,
Yeah.
going up there and playing. It's like,
So
well, I'm gonna go watch this guy. I can't go watch, I'm not gonna go watch this guy. So like, it kind of sucks to where I have to play games that are kind of used up already.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a plus and a minus at the same time.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to it. Like, I could play things like the Jedi Fallen Order, the one story Star Wars game that came out a few years ago. I could play that, and I can like get a few views there here and there, and that'd be great, But if I go and play Resident Evil Village or the new COD update,
Well, see, that's kind of funny though too, because I understand completely where you're coming from. But I almost find it a little bit nicer. It almost seems more like I would say like, this is the completely made up term, like a cafe style like twitching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was really into Stranded Deep, and we were kind of talking about this for like 30 seconds before the podcast started. When I was really into Stranded Deep, I'm not a Twitch streamer. I'm not a Twitch user.
Uh-huh.
So I'd roll through Twitch and I'd just type in like chicken tap, like Stranded Deep,
Uh-huh.
and there'd be like 13 people watching. And I'd be like, how do you do this? And then he'd literally be like, oh, this is how you do this, because there's like 23 people watching, and it'd be like, here's $10, or here's whatever, however you donate, here's a dono,
right,
for like literally answering my question. That's what I kind of like about Twitch and like, these smaller contents, because like I can literally like give you chippies for giving me info, and I can be like, and it's like I said, it's like a cap. It's like literally we're sitting across from each other, and the only thing that's keeping me from being able to do it right then and there is that I don't have the controller in my hand.
right, and it's great, because like I'll get like it's actually getting to the point where I like almost every other stream, or if like every 2 streams,
Yeah.
I'm getting like at least 2 or 3 new followers, which is great. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I like this guy. Hit the follow.
Mhm.
I don't expect them to watch the whole freaking time, because I could be streaming 5 hours out of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And
They're there for a little bit. That's fine and dandy to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think that it's pretty cool, because like you get to, like I said, you really do get to know these guys. You get to kind of like be a part of the growth and a part of the like
Mm-hmm.
the coming up. And I think that's also an issue though too, right? Because the guy who kind of fell off and kind of went off the deep end, Well, the reason why is because, well, I don't particularly know the reason why, but the reason why I'm assuming is because you go from relatively obscure to like, even if 100 people are harassing you or making your life, like asking you for content and making it so that it's not fun anymore, then that's living in your mind, and it's clouding the things that just made it enjoyable, you know. So I can only imagine like someone who literally goes from probably, you know, maybe 50 to 100 followers to like 1,000 followers and then 100,000 followers, and now you have people calling you, you know, basically trolling you or are telling you that, you know, your content's trash. Like, why are you watching these guys? And I think that too many people pay attention to that. I honestly don't, you know, I don't have enough, like, this is so new. I don't have enough people trolling me right now to be like, you know, you're a bald-headed piece of shit. Why are you making this useless content? You know, I don't really have that. So, and I hope that the better part of me won't feed into that. But I honestly think that's one of the reasons why these guys are like literally shooting stars. They burn, like they shoot up, they burn bright, and then they fade out because there's just so much negativity.
Right, and like I've actually had that happen a few times.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, like, you know, I started streaming like years ago. Like I want to say like more than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But because I had so much going on in life, I had to, you know, periodically stop. But one of the first few streams I remember, I was playing a game by Volition and Deep Silver, Agents of Mayhem, which was a spin-off to the Saints Row series.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was playing that, and apparently I was the only streamer playing that. So several people came in and whatever. Nobody was saying nothing. Nobody was saying no. I was like, okay,
they're literally just enjoying the stream.
Right, and then I get this one person, he messaged, or he said something in the chat. He goes, why are you playing this stupid game? And, you know, somebody else chimed in, you know, and they were like, I know, right? He's the only streamer playing this. And then the other guy goes back at this other guy. He goes, I know, right? Amateur streamer, LOL. And I remember it like so clearly.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that just like,
and of course, I didn't care. Like, I'm just doing it.
Well, the funny thing is like, I listen to the Steel Toe podcast. Shout out to Steel Toe podcast. If you ever want to be on my show, that'll definitely make me happy. Steel Toe podcast. They're out of like, I think like Michigan or something. They're northern guys. But like, there was someone who was in there who was like, you know, so show's better. So and so show is like better than yours. And it's like, bro, you're watching my show right now. So like, is it that much better?
Right.
Like, whose show are you watching right now? Oh, well, he's not live right now. Well, then clearly he's not as good as me because I'm live right now. And he goes, and then he like donated $5 to call him like a piece of shit. And he's like, I'll take it.
Right, no kidding.
Like, I'll take it. Like, you literally took $5 out of your pocket to call my show trash, and you're still watching it. I'll give you 20 minutes to leave. He goes, and if you're still here, you're a fan.
Right, exactly. You know, and like I literally just told this guy, I was like, you know, I'm doing it just to do it. You know, I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm just doing it because I'm bored. Like, you know. Yeah,
and if I get a good following, I get like a steady group of people who are enjoying my content, then that's all good. It's all positive vibes. Like, in all honesty, things are moving in such a positive direction with SUYL that when I saw 140 views, 142 views, whatever it's at now, I'm still in awe about 100 people actually taking the time out of their day to watch something that is literally just a passion project.
Right.
You know, and yes, there's a huge chance that we're taking a big shot in the dark with this stuff, but we're working every chance we get. Like, I'm here on my day off, you know, I'm here with someone who, you know, could be Twitch streaming, but they, you know, you came out, you know, SUYL came out, took some time out of his Twitch streaming to come in here and waste, you know, 45 minutes for us to BS about things that to other people aren't important, but at least we'll have 15 to 16 people being like, oh yeah, well now I know where SUYL plays, and now I can kind of watch him, or I can, you know, maybe give him a dono so that whenever he's in London, he can like go and get himself like a badass meal. You
right,
know?
like the funny thing was, like, I was talking with some of my buddies, IRL buddies and whatnot, and I was like, you know, hey, with this money, like, aside from the trip, what if I, like, you know, kind of splurge a little bit, get me, like, an IRL streaming setup, like, whether it be my phone or a camera, like, whatever, you know?
So there's a cool thing on Anchor now. Anchor is what we used to use before we
I'm familiar,
Yeah, before we got, like, into, like, the real streaming game. Like, I'm not knocking anyone who uses Anchor. We still use Anchor, but now we're using like Wondershare. We're using some other stuff like Digital Cord, other things to help us with the actual like legit podcasting. But you can do legitimate podcasting with Anchor, and now they have a video setup. They have like, so you can legit do video podcasting, and all you're having to do is just create an account and then create the content, and then it immediately goes to anything that you have plugged into that content server. So if you have YouTube tied into it, you have Facebook tied into it, Twitch, whatever thing, it's going to immediately share it to it.
Right.
And it's really neat. I don't think Twitch, but you know.
Yeah, like just
YouTube,
any platform.
Yeah, YouTube, any kind of podcasting platform that's connected to, like I think that like, is it Siri or Sara or something like that? It's like a podcasting like radio place that like houses a bunch of radios. I used to actually listen to it. It's been so long. I got to get back into these things. But it'll hook to like Apple podcast or Apple streaming services, any of that stuff. But yeah, so I think it's a great idea. I think like that's honestly what I did for Pride. Like my friend, shout out to Denise. I'm always so proud of her. She's just a killer person. She's just such a great, wonderful human who helped set up the Pride event this year, and she's been in it since the beginning. But she created this wonderful event, and I'm just like, I'm hearing that there's protesters. I'm hearing that there's people that are kind of bringing down the vibe. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna talk to these people. I'm gonna get. I personally am an advocate, so I want to get the other side of it. I want to know, why are these people in the heat, not having fun? You know, basically like,
right.
Like what are they doing out there? Let's get into the mind of them and be respectful in the same way. Like I want to give them the opportunity to basically give their piece and not hold them into not hold them in some sort of negative light. You know, just want to talk to them. And that's really what SUYL's kind of about. It's like I want to kind of like catch the vibe on somebody, see how they're, talk about their really cool Twitch streaming, the fact that you get to like go to Europe, the fact that like people get to find you on Twitch, and like from here on, I mean, we can only move in a positive direction.
Right, and that like kind of like I said, before, that circles back. It's like, I want to put the smile on these people's faces who use Twitch, who use YouTube, anything really, to escape, the shit hand that they have at the moment,
man,
and hopefully
just like taking the day off from work and just being able to kind of unplug.
Right, and like I said, it's because I want them to be able to escape and watch my shit. Yeah. I can curse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was there. I can, they can watch my shit, and laugh about it. That's all I really want. And if if I go up the the ladders of success, then so be it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna forget where I came from, where I started, because then if I do that, it's like you come to me like 2 years later, and I'm living in LA or something,
Hopefully Austin. I don't think LA is going to be doing it.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
I think it's going to be like
probably,
Austin, honestly, Dallas is what's going to be the newer thing.
Honestly, if I did become like high up there, on the totem pole, I'd probably move to like Denver or something,
Yeah, I could see that. Denver's probably like. I think like where the new Twitch streamers are going to go is probably like Dallas, Fort Worth area. They're definitely going to be like Florida, Dallas, probably Atlanta. Like a lot of.
I don't know about all of them.
Well, I'm just saying.
Like,
Florida's coming up. Texas is coming up.
Yeah, like everybody's migrating over here.
Yeah, exactly. So not that I don't think California's. I'm not politically versed in the economics of California, but I know that it's not doing as well as Texas is right now.
Right.
I mean, they're never not doing well. Like they'll always probably. I mean, I think they're gonna continue to be like, I think it was like the third or fourth largest economy in the United States, right? So I mean, it in any sense, I think like 2 years from now, I imagine I could still probably, like you said, where this is going, I could still get you on SUYL,
right?
And vice versa. Like the whole point of SUYL at the beginning was a joke, and we were calling it Road to Rogan or the Map to McConaughey. That's what we were going to do, and like it was we called SUYL Road to Rogan, and we were going to just like interview a bunch of people until we finally got to the point where we could actually interview Joe Rogan. or interview a bunch of people until we could actually get to the point to where we could interview Matthew McConaughey. And I think that that it sounds silly and it sounds kind of like a goofy thing to do, which like we just kind of changed it. I changed it entirely. I just like to circle back and talk about where it kind of came from. And for now, I mean, it's honestly just talking to anybody I find interesting. I want on my podcast. I think has something important to say. I think it's going to be fun and interesting to talk to. It's really just at the end of the day, it's just a good conversation with good people.
Right? And that's you look at some of these people and it's like oh, I'm the baddest, MF ever.
Well, that's funny that you bring that up because we were talking. We were going to talk about Andrew Tate and XQC, and so Andrew Tate comes up with this like him and XQC are arguing over basically Tate's sensibilities and his ideals of masculinity, and so Tate and this other guy, I don't know who the other guy is, but XQC is basically like yelling at Tate, and I don't know if you know who Andrew Tate is, but he's like 6'9", like world champion kickboxer, and this guy's legit yelling at him. Like somehow the only thing that's holding him back is a digital tether, because if he was in front of Andrew, he would not be this animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would not be this this verbose. He would definitely be like someone who was oh, I don't think you should be like that, Andrew. I think that this is no, but he's like, fuck you, Andrew. This is how you should be like. Blah, blah, blah. And he's screaming at him. Andrew's like, yeah, a Twitch shield will do that to you. Like,
right?
Like you're behind. You're an ocean away, and you're behind a screen. You would not be talking to me like this if we were face to face. So the whole thing comes down to like Andrew and XQC. He gives XQC a scenario of someone breaking in downstairs, and it's clearly a burglar. It's a break-in. Who's going downstairs? XQC says the person most equipped to handle the situation, and Andrew Tate's like, that is the most beta thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Like, it is you as the man goes downstairs, and he's like, well, he goes, I don't think either of us should go downstairs. I think that both of us should try and survive. And he's like, that is the most beta thing I've ever heard. It's
right.
Like, one of us has to go downstairs.
It comes down to like, why are you throwing yourself out there as the strongest dude?
Yeah.
But then you want me to go out there. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, like Tate is basically saying that like, even if you're not the strongest person, even if you've got a responsibility to the person that you love to protect that person through any means necessary. And his idea is well, what if she's a better shot? What if she's stronger than me? What if she's more versed in karate or jiu-jitsu? And he's like, it doesn't matter. You are the man. As the man, you've put on a certain amount of responsibilities to take on that risk. Even if you think that somehow she's better or she's more equipped to handle the situation, you take on the responsibility to, confront the person downstairs.
Right, and then like that also comes to like, like I'm like hypothetical, like there's a hypothetical scenario.
It's hypothetical, so you can go on, you can add on to the hypothetical scenario.
So like that comes down to like, okay, like what if these two were parents, the man and the woman, whoever's going downstairs, and there was a child in the middle.
Yeah.
Whether that child is over here or over here.
Yeah.
Whether the child's with the dad, he's got to go down there and kick, whoever's ass is down there.
Yeah.
The mom is over, like, if the child's with the mom, she's going to do the exact same thing.
And see, that was the funny thing, because Tate brought up the fact, he's like, well, wouldn't you, like, let's take the wife out of the scenario, and we know that he's coming upstairs to hurt your child. Would you at least go out of your way to protect the child? And he's like, well, it's still my responsibility to stay alive. And everybody was like, whoa, like,
right,
like, clearly you don't have children, because like you don't understand that, like, even if you don't have children, I think he just hated Andrew Tate so much that he particularly wanted him to be wrong. But in any instance, if it was my nephews, if it was just a if I was at in a situation where there were people or children that were going to get hurt, you hope that like the empathy part of you is going to step in and make sure that those people are protected, and he's like, this is your own child. Your your safety and protection goes out of the window whenever you have the responsibility to take care of someone who is essentially helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're just saying ignorant stuff to try and make me look silly, but in turn you're making yourself look like weak, ineffective, and small.
Right.
Now, I don't know, I know where I stand on the situation. I would go downstairs. I say that I would go downstairs. It's always so funny when you hear these hypothetical situations of like, what would you do? Like if there was a bag of money and it was in the middle of the street and you knew that you wouldn't get caught, would you take it? And I'm like, 13 or 14-year-old me would turn it into the cops.
Yeah.
34-year-old me is having a very existential crisis right now.
Yeah, because you're like, do I really want to do it? Do I really die? Or?
And it's just like, are you going to go downstairs to protect your wife? 12-year-old me, 13-year-old me
Power off.
is hoping that he would go downstairs and do that. And now 34-year-old me is still hoping that he has the moral fortitude to go downstairs and protect his family.
Right.
You hope you do. Like you're in this scenario where someone is coming into a mall and shooting people. Are you going to be the one who's able to push his girlfriend down, butt himself up against the pier, and take the guy out? Boy, do you hope you're that guy.
Right, and actually you say that.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a personal experience, something that's kind of similar. I'm not going to say it's dead on, but
yeah.
So, the town we live in, it's not the best.
Yeah.
So like, maybe I want to say good 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I had a roommate at the time who was staying with me, whatever, I just happened to be off of work.
Yeah.
That night, and so I fell asleep on the couch. I was watching TV. She was in her room. I wake up.
I think I remember you telling me vaguely. I remember.
Yeah, vaguely. I woke up, because I heard her walking around. She was in the bathroom, going to the kitchen, whatever. So, I'm vaguely awake, but then I hear her coming closer. So, sure enough, I open up my eyes, and sure enough, she puts her hand on my mouth, puts her finger on her lips, like, be quiet. And I'm like, okay, something's up, Because the second, if she did that when I was asleep, I would have freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But she was like, be quiet.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm listening, what's going on. Lucky enough, the TV was just not making any noise.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we hear footsteps outside of our living room window.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And at first, we thought it was the wind. It's like, okay, there's no wind. Thought it was an animal. No, that is too damn, heavy to be an animal.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that? So, I pick my hand up off her mouth and whatnot, and I kind of slowly walk over there, and I have wood floors in my house.
Of course, it's creaking.
Right, so it's creaking, so I got to be, very careful. Sure enough, I look out the window, and somebody's walking away.
Yeah.
Wearing a brown, hoodie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to go out there unless this dude comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, apparently that's happened before when I was at work, because I worked the night shift. Apparently that's happened before, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me about this? She can handle herself, yes, but then again, it's my freaking house,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the first line of defense,
Yeah, because you're going to protect the place you live.
Yeah.
And the person living in your space.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
She's there to kind of, clean up the slack, when I'm too tired to do it, and then if I have to, I'll throw down,
Yeah.
I'll grab a knife, I'll grab, freaking, a chain or something.
Yeah, you hope, right? That's what I'm saying. It's just like you hope you're that guy, right?
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm going to go kick his ass.
Yeah.
But
you're going to put up the fight.
Right, exactly.
And you hope that you're going to be the guy who puts up the fight.
Right, exactly. Because you say this now, but when it comes down to it,
when push
are
comes
you
to shove,
exactly? Are you really going to be that guy?
Yeah, and I think that's what really. And I'm not a big fan of Andrew Tate. I feel like he's definitely a character.
Mm-hmm.
The real Andrew Tate we'll probably never really know. He's a character, and he's developed this character into being this bravado, red-pilled alpha male, and he's making money hand over fist by finding people 18 to 35 who kind of live in the same thing you're talking about. Probably not the best upbringing, not the best role models, not good with women, not good with money. And he's like, I'm fucking rich, you could be rich, I got girls, you could have girls, but you're lazy and you're a piece of shit, and these are the things, and if you pay me $45 a year, you can take this class, and you can learn how to be me.
Right.
And it's just like, and if you don't do it, you're a beta piece of shit. You know, and it's just kind of funny because, like, don't get me wrong, I definitely have what everybody has in the like looking for people who are saying the right things and doing the right things. So, like, you know, I catch on to people. Like, I was a big Joe Rogan follower, but I fell off from Joe Rogan. I listen to these people, I pick them up, and then I drop them because I don't particularly need a father figure. I don't particularly need a guru or a Jesus or a cult to follow. I'm not the kind of person who particularly needs that stuff, but I can see the allure of it. I can see the allure of being a Tate follower and wanting to be, you know, catching that red pill and wanting to be an alpha and wanting to, you know. But the thing is that 100 people are going to sign up for this thing, and 2 people out of this are going to somehow find success from it, and somehow maybe feel like they're successful from it. But how much of it is actually success from you doing the full work from Andrew Tate, or you just being the kind of person who could have done it before but just needed to be pushed? You know?
Right.
I think he says good things. He's like, most people, but, you know, good intentions. Road to hell is paved with good intentions. I think that, you know, he definitely says things that are intriguing to people who aren't able to pull these things out of themselves. They need a little bit of a push. And if Andrew Tate is making people healthier, that's a good thing. But I think that there's a lot of negativity that comes with it. There's a lot of, like, personal issues. And me and Josh, shout out to Josh. He's my co-owner. He's the co-owner of Monkey Mouth Podcast. What we try and get across to young men who are listening to this podcast: don't be jaded. Don't be sad. Don't be upset. Don't be mad because a woman or the person you like has, you know, isn't reciprocating those same feelings. Work on yourself. Try and work on you. Be a better version of yourself, and move forward. Because if you harbor that resentment and that anger, it turns into this black pus that can turn into you being an incel or catching the red pill and being this, like, just nasty person. When you can kind of, like, be like, you can kind of hope that you're going to be the better person and work on yourself and go on and move forward. And I think that, you know, I saw this really sad post from an acquaintance of mine, because Facebook is more acquaintances than it is friends.
Yeah.
That basically said, rejection. Every man that I reject comes with a slight sense of fear of how they're going to retaliate. A woman should not have to worry about retaliation from a no. They shouldn't have to worry about anything. What they should be able to do is move forward and be like, no, that was really kind of you, thank you, but you know, I'm not interested in dating. I have a boyfriend, and there shouldn't be any. You owe them no other explanation. You shouldn't owe them any other explanation. I don't particularly like you because of X. I don't particularly want you because of Z. And the more that, and I'm sorry, but the more you tell me why you don't particularly like me is more of a burden onto myself. I would much rather prefer someone saying, you know, oh no, let's pull that Band-Aid off quick, you know, and you can move forward and try and work on yourself, and then catch feelings for someone else. You know, don't catch that red pill, and don't be, you know, don't get jaded and angry, because you know, and it's easier said than done. Believe me.
Oh no, yeah, it's easier on paper than it is, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. It's easier on paper than it is to live it. The same thing, like I said, you hope you're going to be that man. You hope you're going to be the person who pushes his girlfriend out of the way, posts up on a pole, and is able to take out the shooter. Someone actually did that. A person actually did that. A person was in there was a shooting in a mall. The kid was exercising his right to bear arms, was able to actually, you know, take out the shooter and save people's lives. But you know, even if the scenario isn't that serious, you hope that if that if there's a scenario where you are called to be the person who is making things easier, not harder, that you can actually perform, you know? So,
yeah, like, I mean, like, as someone who's been on, like, both sides of the spectrum of that thing, like we're going back to, you know, do I want to, like, you know, start something?
Yeah.
God, no.
No, yeah.
Because half the time, like, these days, you don't know what people are capable
of.
of.
Yeah, that's the worst part, right?
Yeah, like, you know.
You hope it's as simple as just a scuffle, but you don't know what they're capable of.
Right, and then, you know, if someone's trying to start something with you and there's somebody with you or there's others around, you're like, okay, either I need to walk away or just defuse the situation. Because then if something goes bad, you know, someone's gonna, more than yourself is gonna get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and like I said, there's positives and negatives to listening to anybody, but I plead with people, if you're going to try and listen to these people online who are telling you how to live, 9 times out of 10 they're not living that life.
Right.
You know, they're not living that life. They're not living up to the expectations they expect you to have. So don't do that to yourself. Don't live up to expectations of people on the internet. Because here's the thing, if you live up to the expectations that you put on yourself, and if you even can't live up to that, at least try and be the better version of yourself.
Right, like, no one's telling you to go in the next 3 months to go get a private jet. Like, no one's telling you to do that.
And it's impossible to do that. They can, so many people have the key to success, right? But how many people are actually really, like, I mean, do you know anyone personally who wants to give you that key, that true key to success, and literally build competition for themselves? You know? So it's like, I'm sorry. I mean, I find it kind of interesting that was a big thing in the early 2000s. Like when I was probably 16, or you know, probably this was really early 2000s. Like I'd say probably right around 2011, 2009. There was this real big come up with the peacocking and the guys who were you know, showing men how to spit game and stuff, and it was just so silly.
Oh God, you don't know what you're talking about.
And that was a big part of the internet for the early 2000s. It was a big part of MTV. It was a big pickup artist.
Well, I think Will Smith did that movie Hitch. I think that was also you know.
That was kind of the drop off, right?
Right, it was a drop off to kind of show you know, hey, these guys are assholes. You know.
Well, not just that. They can't. They you know, everything that he was trying to teach that guy what it was to be an alpha was completely backfiring on him, because in reality he had never truly met the person. It works to a certain degree. It worked. Even Family Guy, I think, made fun of it, where I think Brian was peacocking and dressing in affliction shirts and you know, basically being real harsh to women. It works, but it doesn't. It works to an extent of are you trying to what are you trying to get here? What are you trying to get out of this? Are you trying to you know, are you just trying to get you know, because I think me and my friend have talked. Me and Josh have talked about this. It's just you can develop a relationship that's important and meaningful to you, or you can just have sex. And it's just at what spectrum are you trying to live your life? You know, are you trying to build a relationship? Are you trying to build something together? Or are you just trying to get laid? And I think that the fact that these people who don't get it, hold it in such high regard, don't understand that women are just people. They're just trying to do the same thing we are. They're just trying to get through work. They're trying to get through life. They're just trying to, you know, pump gas. They don't need you there gawking at them. They're just, you know, and it, you know, I always joke around that it's about I'd say it's about 45% true, maybe 50% true, that television and movies ruined a lot of behavior for men. Because
I can agree with that, honestly.
You know, How I Met Your Mother. How hard did he pursue Robin? It helped that Robin was his friend. But if he was to do half of that stuff to just a woman who was a stranger, he would have gotten a restraining order.
Right, exactly.
You know? So it helped that Robin was his friend, but he consistently pursued Robin, and yes, they were in on and off again relationships, but he consistently pursued Robin to the point where it was just unhealthy. And he even told one of the girls who was like, listen, man, you have to let Robin go. And he was like, even whenever everybody says no, and even when everybody says you're crazy, that's when you work harder. And it's just like, could you imagine telling that to somebody today? Like, as of someone today, like, even if the girl tells you no, even if everybody tells you that you're crazy, that sounds like toxic behavior. That sounds really bad. You know, that's not a healthy way to live. You know, but it doesn't change the sense that like we've been drilled into that. They were even like someone was saying that like you know, they were making fun of, I think it was Cinderella, you know, and they were making fun of that, and it was just like, when you go back to it, it's a girl who lost the perfect fitting shoe, you know, and if it was so perfectly fit, how come she lost it? And someone was saying that, it kind of made me laugh, because someone was saying that women don't date down, but men don't care if they date up or down, you know, and it just kind of made me laugh, because it was like, he was that first kind of like, or he was definitely dating below his standards. He just didn't know at the time, and then he consistently stayed with her.
Right.
At the end of the thing, it was happily ever after, and he stayed with someone who was essentially royalty, but got pushed out through, you know, evil
basically
stepmother.
fell through the cracks.
Fell, you know, through stepmother and through everybody's seen the cartoon. But it's just kind of funny. Like I said, I think that we have to move past the behavior of the early 2000s, the behavior of, if they say no, there's still a chance you can win them over. If they're not into you, well, that just means that you're not trying hard enough. You're not giving them enough attention. You're not buying them the right things or saying the right words. And sometimes it's just that there's no chemistry there. You can't fault a human for not finding you attractive. And you know, it even doesn't help that, like, I think even Snoop Dogg talked about it. Like, his wife didn't like him. You know? And he was like, nah, you're gonna be my wife. We're gonna have kids together. And it's just like, I mean, I don't know, that maybe because of, like, you know, the dating pool being larger, and the, you know, dating apps, and the you know, the pool being bigger, that you're not relegated to, you know, even though Snoop Dogg, I mean, he's for all intents and purposes, he's you know, he's a rich guy with a great career, and it worked out for them. It doesn't mean that it's going to work out for you. You can't live like these people and expect the same outcome,
right?
Because you're going to get maced.
Honestly, like, well, it's like with me and my my previous ex, you know, we basically lost the chemistry, like, you know. At first, like, we were basically all over each other.
Yeah, that's the like the honeymoon aspect of it, right? The
honeymoon you know,
phase.
You know, I went on vacation with her family, you know, nice people, all that good stuff, you know.
All the things that couples do.
Right, and it just fell off, like, you know. I wasn't like, you know, oh, I hate you, you suck. Like, there was none of that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of mutual. It was like, I kind of see it's falling off, so, you know.
Well, I mean, and did y'all guys go through the pandemic together?
No, we actually started dating just as things were starting to lift up. It was getting better.
Okay.
You know, we got vaxxed and all that stuff, you know.
Because I know that there was a lot of issues where, like, people were relegated to staying with each other so they were, like, constantly in close quarters with each other, and it just kind of, it turned a 6-month relationship into, like, a 2-year relationship.
Yeah, the second they went out that door, that was it.
Yeah, because they had basically gone through an entire marriage, you know, in 2 years. They literally, you were forced to cohabitate with this person that you maybe, you know, would have known weeks or days into being in a relationship that that it wasn't going to work out. But now you're relegated to literally living with that person and being quarantined or cohabitating, you know, permanently, because you're stuck. And then now you've gone from a period of relationship that would probably progress over a period of time. Now you're living that in hyperdrive. It's literally, you're doing that so much quicker. You know, your first fight, your first, you're literally living an entire lifetime with each other with 2 years, you know. And that was just not. I mean, it helped in other ways too, because then other people were like relegated to being, you know, are stuck with each other, and then they're like, it pushed it into hyper gear, and they're like, oh wow, I really love you. We just work together. We're able to cohabitate. Let's get married. But then there was also the other part of it was like, I hate you. I don't want to hear you snore
Right,
or
you know.
chew your food. You know.
Right, and you know, it's like I said, you know, I saw us falling off a little
Yeah.
bit, and you know, it was.
I think that any rational person or any person who has a healthy relationship can see it falling off. Right.
Right, and you know, like I said, there was no bad beef. There was
Yeah.
nothing. You know, it's like, you know, I liked her, yes.
Yeah.
But if she wasn't happy, I'm not gonna force her to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because that's not right. You know,
Yeah.
because then at the end of the day, like the second she goes away, like forever,
Yeah.
you know, because like me or whoever
Mm-hmm.
made the significant other, like, you know, feel like crap or forced them to stay.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna look back and like, damn, I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know.
You definitely don't want to feel like you're forcing that person to be in a situation they don't want to be. And like I said, it's not easy trying to find a healthy relationship in any time period. And I think that it's funny that they're like, oh, 2020's really make things difficult. It's not easy at any point in time.
No.
It's not easy to talk to. It's not easy to like. Oh, this is something that kind of caught me too, and this will probably be where we cut off after this, where this guy had his head in his girlfriend's lap and then looked into her eyes and became so vulnerable that he started crying, and she thought it was probably the most attractive thing that he had ever done because he was more of a guarded person who doesn't show his emotion. I am riddled with emotions. Like, I think you know me pretty well. Like, I hold my emotions on my sleeves. You can tell if I'm angry, you can tell if I'm not having a good day, because I'm generally a happy person. I smile, so people know pretty right off the bat. They can tell, like, oh, Elias isn't having the best of day because he's not coming in happy. So like, but I also any person that I'm gonna be in a relationship with, I don't think I could be that vulnerable with, especially as someone who is considered a cis male. It's just kind of hard to like open yourself up to that much emotion and then be taken somewhat seriously. And I think that's just an unhealthy aspect of just being not just a male, but a person in general. Because a lot of people say, oh, women can show their emotions, but women also get called out for showing too much emotions in workplaces and other aspects.
Yeah, they get called out for it in a negative way, and it's I mean, I hate it.
Yeah, but for men, it's mostly in relationships, or it's you don't want to be too vulnerable, you don't want to be to this, to that. So I'm not saying that it doesn't affect both sex, because it really does. Women have a harder time showing emotions more in the workplace. They get called hysterical, or they get called just awful things for showing emotions in work. But they're more able to show emotions in private relationships and relationships with friends. Mostly men aren't really able to do that. And it's kind of funny when men are together, the emotional pool and the depth of that emotional pool is, how you feeling today? Not good. Well, you suck, and that's why you don't feel good.
Yeah.
And then you both laugh, and then you feel better. And then it's like a person of the opposite sex, a cis female, can do that same thing, and they can have a 20-minute conversation about how they don't feel good, and they both come out feeling better. And it's just kind of funny that the emotional depth of a thing is so different from men and women, that he was able. I love that. I'm really excited for them. I'm happy that they were able to do that. I just don't see myself able to do that. Maybe it's just because I haven't found the person to really show those emotions to, So I don't think I would be able to literally look into someone's eyes, burst into tears, and ever think that person could ever think of me more than just an emotional, sack.
Right, and like someone like me, like I'll say it straight up. I have trust issues. I will not lie about that. And
and that's probably from the family aspect and other personal
like just
life,
stuff that's happened, and
I can never. I mean, honestly, man, when I was at work, I could never really truly read your emotions. I didn't know how Soul Hog was feeling that day at work. What I was thinking is like, is Soul Hog happy? Is Soul Hog sad? Well, how do I approach Soul Hog today? Because like I don't particularly know. And you always knew, like, hey Elias, what's going on, man? You don't seem to like you're not yourself today. What's going on?
Yeah.
And to me, it was like, what's going on, Ernesto? Well, how are we feeling today? I think that's how I basically greeted you every day. And it wasn't that I was like like, are you sad? Or are you happy? It was just like, what's going on today? How are we feeling? Like, I would be like, break down the day for me. Are you pissed off? Are you happy? Are you sad? Because you're not a generally like smiley person, but you're not angry or sad.
Right, and that's what people like, see me as like, oh, this guy's an asshole, he's not saying much, he's not doing much. It's like, that's not the issue, bro. It's like, I don't show emotion unless, I absolutely have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, like I said, I have trust issues. I'm not going to spill my guts out to just almost anybody.
Yeah.
It does take a lot for that, for that wall to open up.
Yeah.
I
think that's that same thing. Emotional availability is a different kind of strength. Where, like I said, I would hope I could be the guy who would be able to protect his significant other in any dangerous situation. I also hope that I could be the man who can be emotionally available for the person that he's supposed to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it's just two. It's the side of a different coin, right?
Right.
There's emotional strength and then there's physical strength. Andrew Tate doesn't particularly like emotional strength. He feels that it's a beta behavior, and he likes physical strength because it's an alpha behavior. But I also think that you can show those behaviors and be emotionally strong, and you can be physically strong, and they can both be an important aspect of building an entire person. You don't want to be one or the other too much.
Right.
Because you can be emotionally weak and physically strong, and then or you can be emotionally strong and physically weak. It doesn't really work. You have to have this like nice balance. I don't think that there's ever going to be a perfect balance, but I think that you can find that. And I don't particularly think that this guy's physically weak. I just think that he let that emotions get the better of him, and I don't personally think I could.
Right.
Yeah,
that's just judging by what I've seen on it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I've seen every little bit about it. Based on what I have seen about it, it's like, XQC, he's just spitting out words, But then when it comes down to it, it's just like, like he's trying to hide in a corner, basically, you know. And then you got Tate that's saying shit too, but at least he's living at least he's like
he's definitely portraying the idea that he lives that life, right?
Right.
Like I don't pretend. Like I said, he definitely shows his work.
Mm-hmm.
He shows his, now whether it's real work, whether it's all true,
or he's hired someone to do it for him.
He's hired someone. It could be like, what was it, Lil Tay or whatever her name was.
Oh my! Don't even get me started about her.
Well, I'm just saying, like Lil Tay, all that stuff was fake. The Bugatti or whatever she was driving, the
Lambo or whatever Lambo, it was.
All it was rented. The cash was fake. The persona, but she built that. I mean, he's literally he's Big Tay.
Yeah.
He's living this extreme lifestyle. How much of it is real? Even if it's 30%, it's more than XQC.
Mm-hmm.
And no offense to XQC, I don't particularly know him personally. I don't really know his content, but the way that he was. The amount of like chest thumping that he was doing to someone who could legitimately break him is hilarious. So I think we wrapped up a great episode. So let's hear where people can find you if they're really interested in getting to know like Soul Hog and where they can get his content.
I mean, I try to post every so often on Instagram. SoulHog08.
Okay.
Because 1 through 7 we're taking.
There you go.
SoulHog08 on Twitch.tv. Got a Twitch stream coming out right after this.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
All that stuff. No schedule though, sadly. Just because crap's crazy. But hopefully, like when I get on this London trip, I'll be able to stream IRL. Exploring the city, all that cool stuff,
we definitely hope to see that, and you're always welcome to share it, through letting us know, so we can definitely get it out to the SUYL people and the Monkey Mouth people and whoever's following this. And we appreciate anybody and everybody who's watching this and listening to Soul Hog and me on SUYL,
Yeah.
So appreciate it. Thank you again, brother. I hope you
have thanks for having me, bro. Man, this has been a long time in the talking. And we're finally able to do it,
Yeah, man,
it's
I
great.
appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for tuning into SUYL, man.
Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.